Hello there guys, it's Stephen here back with another video, and it's that time of the weekend. It's 5 things that I learned from Manchester City's 2-1 victory over Chelsea. It was a fascinating game, so there's absolutely loads to talk about. Before I do that, I want to say thank you to The Athletic. I have partnered with them recently, as you may know by now. It's the new home of football writing and has the best coverage of Manchester City that you'll find anywhere online. And I myself am a subscriber. I got involved long before they approached me about this partnership, so I can vouch for its credibility and vouch for its brilliance because I use it myself as an actual customer of theirs. It's got a world-class team of writers, including David Ornstein, Michael Cox, Jack Pitt-Brooks, Rafa Honigstein, our own Sam Lee, of course. He's an absolute hero and a good friend of mine. It's completely ad-free, no ads at all, so no annoying pop-ups or anything like that. And you can get 50% off your annual subscription right now, using my personal subscribe link, which is theathletic.co.uk/esteemed company/esteemed company. Go check out the link in the description below. That works out about £2.50 a month. It's fantastic. There are loads of great articles on there. And what I love about The Athletic personally is that the journalists don't have to do clickbait nonsense, so they get to write good, honest journalism about the sport that we love, football. You get to talk about football, and there's loads on there at the moment, including Sam Lee's piece about Guardiola. If City want to keep them, the players have to change, and the idea being that Guardiola one day will leave, but only when he feels like the players aren't ready. So this talks about that. There's other articles about Sancho's future as well, how Guardiola is currently hinting at a longer stay, and absolutely loads more basically insight into City and loads of other teams in the Premier League. So go and subscribe. It's fantastic, I promise you. theathletic.co.uk/esteemed company. The best bit of writing you'll find anywhere online. This video though is about 5 things that we learned from the game yesterday, and it was a satisfying victory, wasn't it? It was a victory that we needed. Now, I put some thoughts about the game yesterday over in my immediate match reaction, which was out of focus, so sorry about that. I was rushing out to go and see a gig. It was a good gig, but this video is nice and sharp and in focus now, I hope. So this one though today is looking about some talking points. I'm going to start immediately with kind of the energy or the pressing of the team, because in general, I feel like we're reaching a point now, and I've talked recently about a transition in this team, where this transition is starting to affect how we play on the pitch, because simply some players aren't really capable of what we want them to do because of their age or whatever, or because they're moving on in their career and all that kind of stuff, or because they don't have the energy and general pace to do it. Now, I feel like our pressing game seems to have disappeared, and I think we've adapted to fit in David Silva's. I mean, obviously, you should always adapt to David Silva if you can, because he's fantastic. But I feel like he can't really press in the same way that we know with the team. When we're at our best, basically pressing, everyone's going for it. I don't think David Silva can do that anymore. It's obviously due to his age. I'm not sure Aguero presses that great either. He's okay at it, but not that great. And Mahrez also is not that great at pressing. He's kind of still learning it. Gundogan definitely can't press particularly well because he's just not fast enough as well. And at times we're looking quite easy to break past, basically. If teams can pass it out against us, and that Manchester City team that was so famous for smothering other teams and absolutely drowning them, it isn't really happening, which is a shame, because when you think about our best performances, you think of the likes of Sterling and Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne and everyone else, and Fernandinho as well when he's in midfield, absolutely smothering teams. And David Silva's been a part of that too as well, of course, a couple of years ago. It just doesn't happen anymore. And as a result, I think it makes us a little bit easier to play against. Now, what was immediately notable for me is that when Phil Foden came on yesterday, and you'd better believe at this point it's just a way for me to pick up Phil Foden, when he came on yesterday, his energy and his tenacity and the way he chased down teams, it made such a difference. He injected such a spark into the team, and I want to see a team that plays, that can press with that energy. I would absolutely love to see our most energetic midfield at some point. And as much as I love Rodri, and I'll get onto him very, very soon, I'd love to see some like a Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Foden kind of midfield with like Bernardo, hopefully somewhere near his best pressing, and Sterling, and maybe even Gabriel Jesus if Aguero's injured. Fingers crossed he isn't. We'll get onto that in a bit. But there's basically a lot of pressing and a lot of pace. I feel like we're missing a bit of pace, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of drive, and this is something we really need to think about. Maybe it's the time for Foden to start starting, and David Silva be the impact sub instead. We don't know, but it looks likely. After that, it's going to be a long winter, isn't it? It's going to be a really long winter. Guardiola hasn't confirmed it yet, but he said it's a bad injury for Aguero. It's a muscular one. So he looks likely they're going to be without Aguero. Obviously no Sané, obviously no Laporte. Who knows when Zinchenko's back. Rodri had a bit of cramp as well. David Silva had a bit of cramp. Players are getting injured, and it's going to be tiring, it's going to be cold, and it's going to be very, very difficult. I'm expecting to see another injury at some point. Touch wood, it doesn't happen, but it just seems inevitable, doesn't it, given the fact that we seem to be the one team that get loads of injuries. On the injury front, you've got to presume seem that the club aren't happy with it. Guardiola is famously sacked coaches about this kind of stuff, so he's definitely not going to be happy with it. You always go, what are they doing in training? Why haven't they sacked? Blah, blah. If we really think Guardiola is just sitting there going, it's fine, it's just bad luck, then we don't really know Guardiola, do we? Guardiola, of course, will be raising this. Of course, there'll be an internal investigation of some kind. It could just genuinely be that this season we are the unluckiest team in the world with injuries. It could be that the karma gods have gone, guys, you got a lot of money a long time ago and things got a lot better for your club. You've had a lot of success and a lot of trophies. Just, it's just balancing out. Just deal with it this year. It could be that, and we have been lucky as a club. I'm not going to deny that. We deserve luck, in my opinion, because our fans suffered. But we've been lucky. So maybe the karma gods are just, maybe it's bad luck. Maybe this season it's just like, maybe eventually it was going to happen. Who knows? It could be that we're doing something wrong, or it could just be bad luck. Either way, you got to appreciate that the club will be looking at this, and obviously Guardiola will. But it's going to be a very long winter. Thirdly, what about Rodri? I think we're overusing him a little bit. I know he's just come back from an injury, but I think I don't think he's looking in good form. And I think yesterday, I thought he was a bit lost, if I'm being honest. I thought he looked pretty poor. He did look a little bit better in the second half before he went off with cramp, but I'd love to see Fernandinho in midfield again, because I think Rodri, with a new signing, you shouldn't have to play him every single week as they're learning to the role. What you want to do, and bear in mind, Rodri did start the season fantastically. I thought he was excellent at the start of the season. But then what you want to do is take him out the limelight a little bit. Give him a couple of good games off to absorb all the information that he's learning, because it's going to go like that, basically. When you've got a new player with expectations, sometimes they'll be up there at the start of the season, then they'll go down as the team goes down, and that's where you start to see players who are new to the team, when they start to suffer a little bit, when the team has a dip in form, because it's easier being in a good team when you sort of arrive, basically, because everyone kind of bail you out a little bit. Rodri's fantastic, but as with any new signing, there will be peaks and troughs, and I think currently he's in a bit of a trough, and it's probably because he's been moved around so much. He's coming into such an unsettled side at the moment. We've had him at centre back, for crying out loud. We've had him at centre back. It went well, but I bet he wasn't expecting that. We've also had him playing with so many combinations in midfield and so many combinations of defence. He's not had a chance yet to play in a settled team really regularly, because it changes all the time due to injuries. And I think it's affecting his form a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he's terrible, but it's notable that he's not at the level when he first joined, in my humble opinion. So it's something to keep an eye on. After that, another slightly negative one. Mainly just wanted to use the pun on the Mendy, because he is still on the mend. Mendy isn't looking great either. Now, I do believe that in general he gets a grace period of a long time, because when you don't play football for barely 2 years, you ain't going to get back into shape after 6-7 starts. You're just not going to. You're not going to. I think we need to give him a long time to trust his body, but we can start to think, when is that time? How long does he get? Does he get a few months? Probably does, but at the moment, I think it is fair to say he doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. He's had a couple of alright games, but yesterday his passing was out of touch. He looks slow. He looks slower, which is my big concern. I think he's had one or two moments where he's been alright in previous games, but he seems to have regressed a little bit. I don't know. I'm not sure of his level, basically. The point with this one with Mendy is that I don't think we're at a place where we can fully judge him yet, but I think we're also at a place where it's fair to say he doesn't look good. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that there's concerns, but we don't know the resolution of the concerns yet, if that makes sense. We need to see how it's going to play out still, but we are allowed to go, he's still looking a bit crap. I think that's probably fair enough. As it is, he doesn't currently look like the man that we signed for 50 million, not even close, to be honest, which is a shame and probably understandable. I do hope and hold out for the idea, for the prospect of him getting past it and playing past his mental barriers, if they are there, and getting sharp, and his body catching up to his mind, all that kind of stuff. I hope he hasn't lost any pace. But it looks like we still could have an expensive left-back problem there, sadly. I might be wrong, and I do believe he still needs another couple of months at very least to kind of play his way into form. But at some point, it's going to be hard to keep picking him. And honestly, for me at the moment, Angelino's ahead of him. I didn't think Angelino was that bad against Liverpool. I think he actually going forward looked pretty good. And bear in mind, Angelino's barely played any football this season. I think he did pretty well against a very, 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 very good team. For me, it's tough for Mendy. And finally, mentality. Now, well, I know it's quite a broad term, but I think at times yesterday we looked a little bit soft, and I think this links back into the pressing thing. But in general, I feel like we lack a little bit of a leadership mentality within the squad at the moment. Now our captain is obviously David Silva. He's not really one for leading by, he's not going to get your army going. He's going to kind of lead by example. He's an exemplary gentleman, a great footballer, that kind of stuff. But I do feel that the lack of Vincent Kompany in the dressing room or something like that. I've talked before on this channel about how Fabian Delph even been around the team with his drive and his professionalism will make a difference. difference. And also the changing guard in the senior team. Like, who is the senior players now? It's probably Aguero, and it's probably David Silva. David Silva is the senior player now, but he's going soon, so he's on his farewell season. Aguero has never really struck me as a leader in terms of like a captain. Maybe De Bruyne, but we've got this kind of middle ground where it's obviously Fernandinho as well. Actually, I forgot about Fernandinho, but we're starting to see a situation where I don't think anyone really is the main leader in the squad. And I think as we're looking for a little bit of an identity, I think the team are in general floating about, kind of trying to find some semblance of who they want to be in terms of who do they look up to and all that kind of stuff. There are obviously leaders there, but I think that at times we looked a little bit lost and a little bit like lacking self-assuredness. And I do have to then flip this point in terms of the mentality back in a professional way, in a positive way, that the reaction to the goal yesterday when we scored, got the equaliser was really good. Then we went and got the, obviously, what turned out to be the winner, and we did improve from that point onwards. But there is like the mentality, I guess, the overall point of this at the moment, it's a bit fragile, I would say. I think that's understandable. Like, it can look strong all of a sudden when everyone collectively believes, but then it can look really weak when everyone collectively looks lost, and we haven't got one individual to cajole the team. No one like Vincent Kompany, basically. When someone like Vincent Kompany leaves, there is a gap. And we see also Guardiola looking a little bit confused at times. So maybe his stress is kind of seeped into the team. It's not quite right, basically, what I'm saying. So that's just some points there. The energy of the team's lacking a little bit. I think we should try and optimise that wherever we can with the likes of Foden. It's going to be a long winter. I think there's going to be more injuries, sadly. I don't know what the solution is, but yeah, I think Rodri needs a bit more time. I think maybe he needs a time out of the spotlight. Hopefully the injuries will kind of give him a chance to sit out every now and then and learn and not put too much pressure on him. And Mendy, he isn't right. Hopefully he can get better. And finally, I think the team are lacking confidence, basically. Guys, that is just some points that I learned from the game. I know it sounds negative, but it's not meant to be. I mean, we could talk about a few things positive. Like, I think Mahrez obviously showed how brilliant he can be when he wants to turn up. The team's mentality was good to get back into the game. I thought De Bruyne showed a very leader-esque role. I thought Stones as well actually showed some signs of positivity. And we're still obviously a very good team. But, at the moment, we're not a fluid machine. And I think there's nothing wrong with pointing, basically trying to work out why that is. Guys, as I said before, go and download or sign up to The Athletic even, the new home of football writing, a team of world-class writers. Some good friends there. Daniel Taylor, a friend of mine. Sam Lee, a friend of mine. Fantastic writers, surrounded by fantastic writers too. 50% off now at theathletic.co.uk/esteemed company. £2.50 a month, an absolute bargain. Go and download it. It's class. Absolutely brilliant, I promise you. For now, though, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you've learned from the game and all the usual stuff, and I'll see you very soon.